New Bitcoin whales, addresses holding at least 1,000 Bitcoin, where each coin has an average acquisition age of less than 6 months, are aggressively accumulating. These wallets have collectively acquired over 1 million Bitcoin since November 2024. That's a 20th of the supply, or 121st of the supply, positioning themselves as one of the most influential market participants. They've accumulated more than 200,000 Bitcoin just this month, just since these big price dips. They've really been dropping big money into this market. That's not something you see during bear markets. They just continue to move up and to the right of their overall supply holdings, which is pretty wild. Now let's talk about this. This is kind of interesting. So Trump is going to speak at the Digital Assets Summit. This would be the first time a sitting president rather than a potential president has spoken at a crypto conference. Pretty wild. And that is by Blockworks. It's happening on March 20th. So that should be what, today? Yeah. So I guess we'll be paying attention for what he says. It's a pre-recorded video, so we'll see what happens in the markets. I don't know if we get a little sell-off because everybody's expecting him to say something crazy. We're going to start buying 1 million Bitcoin. Who knows? Trump's presence at the event underscores his embrace of the industry that under the former President Joe Biden was the target of more than 100 enforcement actions by federal regulators. A lot of these are bullshit. Now, a lot of them were valid for scams and things like that the SEC should be pursuing, but a lot of them are bullshit. And they've dropped the case against Ripple, Uniswap, OpenSea, Yuga Labs, Kraken, Coinbase, Genesis, and so forth. So anyway, this is a big deal. On March 19th, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple Labs, announced the SEC was dropping its years-long enforcement action against a blockchain developer while at the summit. Since Trump took office, the agency has dropped charges against other crypto firms, including Coinbase, Kraken, Uniswap, and so forth. So that's really, really good. So it's going to be a recorded call. Who knows what it's actually going to say today? We'll see. I'll keep an eye out for that, but I guess we'll see. And then continue on. Bitcoin runs towards 86 grand after the Fed maintains its course of holding rates steady, projecting 2 rate cuts this year. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to trim its quantitative tightening policy. It left the option for 2 interest rate cuts for 2025 on the table. So on the presser that was announced, Powell confirmed the Fed intends to leave the rates unchanged, where they've been since December 24, although the Fed downgraded its outlook for economic growth and emphasized that tamping inflation remains a sticking point. The Fed's statements largely aligned with market expectations. The FOMC minutes confirm the central bank will reduce the monthly redemption cap on Treasury securities from 25 billion to 5 billion. So basically that means they're going to unleash 20 billion worth of more liquidity into the market, which is good for us. In response to the Fed statements, Bitcoin price added to its daily gains, rallying to an intra high of 85, basically 86 grand at the time of writing. That's good. The Dow is also starting to bounce as well. Once everyone's talking about recession, it rarely happens. That's something that Pomp had mentioned, is that you should be scared of a recession when everyone thinks that's the last thing that could ever happen. Just like the top of a bull market is always when everybody thinks it's the last thing that could possibly happen. Just like the bottom of a bear market is always when everybody thinks it's never going to get better. We're guaranteed to keep going down. That's always the bottom. So when everybody is screaming recession, 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 that's not usually when a recession happens. So Congress on track for stablecoin and market structure bills by August. Guys, these are massively big deals for us in terms of the ability for us to really have these coin prices go to the next level. There's still uncertainty. Believe it or not, there still are huge amounts of money at play that have not gotten in this market because they still feel that it's so dumb. Maybe the government's going to ban it, or there's just not clear regulation. Now, this isn't necessarily individual market participants. These are big funds. These are family offices. These are banks, which can now hold and custody crypto on behalf of their customers. Too many C's in there. I think we're getting close to getting these done for August. They're doing a bit of work behind the scenes on that right now. Smith said at the March 19th at the summit, which was attended by Cointelegraph. I'm optimistic that when you have the chairs of relevant committees in the House and the Senate and the White House that want to do something, and you've got a bipartisan vote in Congress, that you can get it there. This has bipartisan support. In the past, we've had all this bickering left and right about, I don't like this bill. I do like this bill, blah, blah, blah. Crypto's good. Crypto's bad. Now we're on the same page, and that needs to happen. We got to get over this, like, just because the left says something, it's evil. Just because the right says something, it's evil. There are things that are going to benefit Americans. And I know, guys, for those of you who are not in America, you care less about this, but it does affect your holdings because the US is a financial powerhouse. It does affect your crypto portfolio.